Prosecution of Malcolm X. Now we know they're never going to give Malcolm X the same level of respect that they give to Martin Luther King. And that's because Martin Luther King wanted to coexist with white supremacy, and Malcolm X wanted to destroy white supremacy. And they knew they had to get rid of the Black Panthers by all means necessary because they were the biggest threat. Martin Luther King was a lesser of a threat because he was non-threatening. Martin Luther King felt that there was a way you can coexist with such evil. But as you see, the movement of Martin Luther King did not kill white supremacy because white supremacy still reigns right to this day. That's why they were more afraid of Malcolm X, because they knew that he had the power to destroy the influence of white supremacy. See, he told black people that they can fight back, and they just don't have to take it on the chin. They could not have that kind of philosophy out there because they needed fear to rule. That's how you rule people, through fear. So that's the reason why they needed to get rid of Malcolm X, and that's why they won't recognize him right to this day. Because if they give him respect, then they will have to respect his full philosophy, which they're not going to do because they knew that Malcolm X did not want to coexist with white supremacy. He wanted to destroy it. He wanted to get rid of it and everything that it stood for. And that's why they don't like him right to this day. They can stomach Martin Luther King, but they could not stomach Malcolm X's message. Let's just keep it real. They did not like him because he told black people to fight back and fight for their rights and fight for justice. Which I don't understand why people dislike this man so much when the only thing he did was to tell his people to fight back and fight for their rights. That's all he ever done. He didn't do nothing else. He didn't kill nobody. He didn't hang nobody. He didn't burn no crosses. He didn't burn down no churches. He just merely said, black people, stand up and fight for your rights. That's all he did. A lot of people called him a separatist. But wouldn't you want to separate from a people that was hanging people in trees and dragging them behind cars? Are you mad at Malcolm X because he told his people to separate from a people that was killing them? Are you serious? You guys are mad at Malcolm X because he told his people to get away, from people that was prosecuting them for no reason, simply just for being black? How could you hate a man because he wanted to get his people away from a people that were doing nothing but harm to them? This is how crazy the American society is in the philosophy of white supremacy. Because they was mad at Malcolm because he told his people to get out of the burning fire. That Martin Luther King said that he just integrated his people into a house full of fire, in which he did. But they're mad at Malcolm, and they don't want to give him no respect because he told black people the truth. You don't have to take this on the chin. Unite, come together, put your money together, create your own businesses. Not only did Malcolm X just give a message, they were self-sufficient. Yes, they fed black people, they fed themselves. They did it without welfare. They opened businesses, they opened stores. They had drug rehabs. All that stuff was under the Black Panther movement. They gave black people shelter. place to stay, love, everything that they needed. Malcolm X was more than just somebody saying, hey, look at dirty America. He was much more than that. But they're never going to respect that because they don't want that philosophy out there. They don't want your kids looking up to Malcolm X because they don't want black people to think like Malcolm X did. That's off the top. And before you coons come up with the Mecca story, because they love to tell this story about how he went to Mecca, and all of a sudden he came back and he felt that, all white people wasn't evil. Now, common sense tell you that we know that not all white people are evil. He went to Mecca. Mecca is not the United States. Mecca and the United States are two different places. United States can never be like Mecca. Why? Because it is Babylon. Babylon will never be like Mecca. That's why the Holy Book tells black people, come up out of her. It don't tell you to go inside of her. Malcolm told you to come out of her. Martin Luther King told you to go into her. Think about that. But like I say, people want to bring up the Mecca story. Malcolm X still understood that there was a difference between Mecca and the United States. And believe me, anybody with common sense would know. When he went to Mecca, he found out that not all black people are Muslims, or not all Muslims are black. Let me rephrase myself. That's what he found out when he went to Mecca. And that's it. But when he came to the United States, he still understood that he was in Babylon. He was still pro-black. He just wasn't hateful with it. And it's so sad that a man laid down his life for his people, and they don't want to recognize him for doing that, so they prosecute anybody that brings up Malcolm X. We don't want nothing to do with him. He was a separatist. Just because he told his people to run out of a burning building. It's like a person standing outside of a burning house, and he goes in and he saves the people, but they don't see him as a hero. It doesn't make sense. And that's how that's the prosecution of Malcolm X, because they want to demonize this man when the only thing he did was told his people to stand up for themselves. Stand up and be counted, and don't take it on the chin. And that's why they will never give him a holiday, because he told his people the truth. He wanted to destroy white supremacy. He did not want to coexist with it. And that's why they're prosecuting this brother. But it doesn't make no difference, because in my eyes, he will always be respected. And I will take the philosophy of Malcolm X over the philosophy of Martin Luther King any day. With all due respect to Martin Luther King. With all due respect. See, Martin Luther King had hope and change. It's the same metaphors that they're singing today. And it hasn't done too much of anything for black people. And that's why they let Martin Luther King linger on for a while. Because they wanted to make sure that all the black people thought like Martin Luther King. Because they know that hope and change is not going to destroy white supremacy. But they understood that what Malcolm X stood for was a threat to white supremacy. And that was the difference. So tell me what you think. I want to know. I want to hear from you. Like, subscribe. One love.